Hey racers, it's Sherpa Dave here coming with the recce for next week's ride on Out and Back Again. A long one. It takes us through the desert. It takes us up the volcano and then up the hilly reverse before heading back again. So here's the key points that I have. So it's a lead in the desert about 10 kilometers. I don't know why I say 10 kilometers, but there we go. It goes up the Col de Saddle Springs to the KOM, the Volcano KOM, and we're going to show you that in a second. That's the next 12.4 kilometers. Then it's up and down that volcano, which is, to remind you, 3.75 kilometers, averaging 3%, but we'll go into a bit more detail on that when we get there. Down the volcano, across the land bridge to the reverse hilly, down the other side of the reverse hilly, and then a nice flat finish all the way to that 500-meter sprint at the end. So here we go. We're going up the Col de Saddle Springs. I skipped that first 10 kilometers. It's a nice little hill, just under 1 kilometer, 1.8%. It does tighten at the top, but stay together and you'll be fine. And then it's back down the other side. From there, we're going to head into the tunnels and then up that hill at the end of the tunnels to some gravel. From the gravel, we're going to go to a little bit of a false flat that heads up that hill, tightens all the way to the top, then down the other side around the Italian village to the S's, and the S's themselves, just to remind you, 200 meters hill to start with at 4%, and then 4 little bumps that come after that. You'll hit that right around 18.4 kilometers before we head towards the volcano for the biggest climb of the ride. So here we go, heading towards the volcano now. There's a nice 3D picture of the volcano. Thank you, Velo Viewer, for that. But here are the real numbers. So let's just kind of pause it there for a second. So the KOM itself starts at 22.4 kilometers. It's 3.8 kilometers and averages 3.2%, but it's a hill in 3 parts. It starts off with a roughly 4%, 1.2 kilometers. Then it's flat for about 600. And then it's 2.7 kilometers up at 4%, but there are loads of ramps on this. It's up, it's down, it's flat all the way. So make sure that you do stay together. And the reason you want to stay together, this hill is draftable all the way up except for one tiny little spot. So if you guys communicate all the way through, you should be good to go. Don't forget to stay together and keep pedaling that on that downward stretch. There are a few spots where you can coast along and catch a micro break. But then we're going to go over to the Hilly KOM reverse. So we're going to go across the causeway. We're going to skirt the side of the Italian village and then up past the waterfall. This one will slow you down. So it's a kilometer of dirt, and there's that hill at the end of it. And that'll take us to the Italian village. All right, so we're switching gears now. This is from last week's race. It is the R&K Vixens, my team, taking this Hilly KOM reverse. So, Hilly KOM reverse, let's do a quick pause there. It starts at 34.5 kilometers. It's 2.5 kilometers long and only averages, I think, 1.8% technically. But the tough part is that first part. It gets up to 11 or even 12% on that curve. And that's really going to sap the heavier riders. Remember, we're towards the end of the ride here. You've already ridden almost 35 kilometers. And unlike when we did it last week when you were fairly fresh legs. So make sure you group together after that first bump. You know, we are towards the end. So DSs, as you're out there, be prepared. Maybe you need to drop a couple of riders so you can still keep the maximum speed up for the best pack. It's the fastest, it's the 4th fastest man. That's the winner, or rider, I should say. That's the winner. Don't do what I did here and try and get ahead of the rest of the team. There they are. So make sure you regroup as you get to the top of this little bit. Look at that line from the Vixens. All right, here's the downhill, the other side. Good super tuck down here. When we did it last week, I got 8 seconds. Let's see if you can beat my 8 seconds. All right, back to my solo ride. And we're going to skip ahead a little bit. So we turn back onto the desert. Up that little bit of hill. Ignore this continuity error, everybody. I know I can trust you. Now we're into the final stretch. Pass in the Pens and you're at 40.3 kilometers. Still got that lead in to go. But when you pass that sprint marker, it means you're almost home. 500 meters. Go as fast as you can. Get the fourth rider through the gates. And you're there. All right. So let's take a look at that again. So the lead in is 10 kilometers. The Calder Saddle Springs to the KOM is another 12.4, and it's all kinds of different terrain. Just communicate, stay together, and you're good. Up and down that volcano, that's all about communication. But do remember it's draftable, so don't split up because you can't draft, because you can draft. Then come back down the other side of the volcano, cross the land bridge, and then up to the reverse Hilly KOM. That first part's the hardest part of that. But once you can super tuck down the other side, it's a pretty flat finish. There's a little bit of a rise, but it's a pretty flat finish, 4.8 kilometers, ending in that nice 500-meter sprint section. Fourth rider through the gate gives you your team time, and let's hope it's a fast one. This will be hard work. Prepare yourself for an hour's effort. Other than that, have a brilliant time, and I will see you on Thursday.